what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the live Flat Earth Debate. If you're watching this on my main channel, which is Nathan Oakley 1980, then hit the information box to find a link to my second channel, this one that we're watching on live. If you are watching live, that's called Nathan Oakley, if you'd like to participate in the live debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to actually join the discussion right now, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the live Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Ether, Jose, Mike and Arwin. Good to have you all.
G'day, g'day.
Good afternoon.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yes, it's almost Christmas. Very
It's
exciting.
a reification fallacy.
Hey, hold your horses. Any signs of curvature?
Hold your reindeer, you mean?
No signs of curvature. Everything's,
No, as for right now.
No Christmas curve on the horizon?
everything's flat, Nathan. Everything's flat.
Any signs
Every
of
obstruction is, if every obstruction is curvature, then I cut some obstruction. I might present it later. I still gotta take some screenshots of the video, and I might present it later. You tell me what you think.
Excellent. Sounds exciting, Jose. Any signs of that axial rotation that Santa would need to get quickly around the globe-shaped Earth that they presuppose? Any signs of axial rotation?
No.
No.
No. Stationary.
Any evidence that there's a possibility, even the remotest of possibilities, that you can have a gas pressure without a container for all those people who believe in the vacuum of space?
No.
But Nathan, we have a gradient that goes up as we gain elevation. Explain that.
Yes, that's lovely, Anthony. A gas pressure gradient. So I'll ask again. Any evidence of a gas pressure being maintained without a container?
But we have a gradient, Nathan. Answer my gradient question, you shill.
Yeah, but the gradient actually expands at a cumulative rate. So there's no suggestion there will ever be a vacuum at any point.
I don't want to explain why there's a gas pressure. I want you to explain why there's a gradient.
Well, it doesn't address the question. The gas pressure
Because of gravity.
gradient still requires a container. So is there any evidence that we can have said gas pressure without the container? That's what would
But
be...
we have a gradient, a gradient.
Shut up, Lobby.
Gravity.
Defies logic.
It's gravity.
Excellent, Arwin. Nicely moved on.
Gravity.
Excellent segue. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the gradient. The pressure gradient.
The gradient.
Yeah. It is gravity, right?
Dunno.
So,
Anything
so
more than a religious assertion. Preferably scientific evidence would be nice. It's Christmas after all.
So I released a video yesterday, right? And they don't like that 50 million bit. I know John said to me, Quantum Eraser, he said, stop begging the question. You're confusing it. You're muddying the waters. And he's right. And Nathan's right. I shouldn't do it. But I can't help myself. I like begging the question with them to see where it goes. And when you do a little bit of research and you do a little bit of homework and you find out, you find out some of the minutiae of their arguments, and you realise the value of the gravitational claim that they have, this force, is quantified by Cavendish himself to be, quote, not greater than 50 million, 1/50 millionth of the object's weight, then that 50 millionth is supposed to be the cause of all the oceans sticking to the surface of the Earth. So you have to ask yourself the question, is there any evidence anywhere where somebody can apply a 50 millionth of force against an object, against an object's weight, and make it do anything? I mean, it's such a minuscule amount of like pressure, force, that you would never feel it, right? If it was on your skin, you wouldn't feel it, and that's supposed to be the cause of the oceans of the Earth sticking to the outside of the ball.
No, but you misunderstand. It's the accumulation of all matter having that very slight pull, becoming so strong that you do feel the gravity.
No, it's quantified to be a 50 millionth of the object's weight. So if the ocean's got a weight and it's 50 millionth of it, that's the force of gravity, and that's what's holding it on.
Yeah.
So the question,
no, it's the entire ball Earth.
Yeah, you're just arguing about who's making the question correctly. This is nonsense. Let's move on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Any evidence of the Christmas lights rolling around us?
I think Travis might be masticating. I'm going to mute him.
I was typing.
Oh, right. It sounded like you were masticating.
You chewing something while you're typing?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
any
Anthony,
evidence?
by the
of
way, you're
distance
talking through your bad mic. I don't know why, but...
Oh, I'm sat on the sofa with my dog sat on my chest, and I can't really move without him screaming.
Okay.
Hey, Chocolate.
Like
Let's see if we can get an answer out of Chocolate. Any evidence of the distance to the sun, Chocolate?
Nah, there's nothing of that. Not over here. I don't know, maybe Arwen got some.
Praise Helios. We can move on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
No?
Maybe.
Oh,
Nobody?
hell no.
No.
No?
I think
Okay.
that even within the presupposition itself, there is no evidence for it.
Well, what about that said presupposition? So, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius, gentlemen?
Nope.
They'll prove it one day.
We
You
need
reckon?
to find curvature before we find a radius.
Think they'll prove
It's
a molten
easier
iron
to
core before they
disprove
prove
it.
radius, Arwin?
Yeah, but for now they have to hold on to that obstruction being curvature. But I think they are pretty confident that one day they will confirm our...
That's what it's all about. Confidence. Right, that concludes the housekeeping. Thank you very much. Wow, have we got a full panel? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we've got a full panel. 10 people.
Wow.
Morning, guys.
What's up, Chocolate?
Say good morning, good morning.
Good morning to you too,
Everybody.
sir. Was there an early bird show today?
Yep.
How'd it go?
Great. Hold on, I'm chewing on my breakfast, so...
Arwen's masticating.
So, Jose and Ranty have both got stuff to present. You were first to mention it, Jose. Do you want to go first?
Yes. Let me upload a few pictures in Skype. I'm gonna upload in Master B chat. So if anybody can do me the favor and present them, I'm gonna
Who wants
present
the
3
honors?
pictures first, which is gonna show the location I was standing with the coordinates in. I'm gonna then the location, then the structure I was looking at with the coordinates, and then a control image that I found in Google of that bridge, how it looks. So let me go ahead and jump to Skype and upload those 3 right now. And then I will upload a few screenshots of videos that I found. All right, I got this picture, this, and this right here. And then I'm going to upload a few pictures of my observation with the P900, which shows different amount of obstruction as I change my height. So yeah, it was very interesting to me to look at those. And yeah, it might be easily explained, but I'm still struggling thinking about I'm missing a lot in the bottom of the picture. So, all right, I've uploaded the 3 pictures first. Somebody want to do a quick present on those?
Anybody want to volunteer?
Really,
Don't
please?
all rush.
I wish I could, but I can't.
Do I have to do it again?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes, Arwin, you did
Yay,
it.
Arwin, yay.
Well
Oh,
volunteered.
you mobile
Thank you,
junkies.
Owen. You're a superstar.
Computer.
All
Right.
right, let's see what we got.
Yeah.
And I'll start uploading the next ones.
Okay, presenting.
Okay, let's see what you got here. Okay, this is the structure I was looking at, and you see in the bottom section is a 27 miles exactly distance that I'm looking at. So it's a pretty far away distance, big time. And you change to the next picture that's where I was standing, so kind of a little park. I decided to choose that screenshot because it shows the coordinates, so you can key it in and you can find on maps what what there was. And then if you present the other one, it's a Google image on what the structure I'm looking at is, which is a tall bridge, 400 plus foot tall. I think it has like 150, 125, 100 to 150 clearance underneath. So the big boats, big cargo ships can go underneath it, as you can see in the picture.
That is a clearly curved bridge, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a curved bridge. But what I'm interested in looking is the above the clearance on the bridge of the actual street that cars go by, the triangle shape, with the wires, like the long pole on the wires. And that is what I got with my next images that I just uploaded. I put numbers on the image. You're gonna see a 2, 6, 20. All right, that's a 20-foot high observer height that I was. And you can see the bridge, the top of the 2 sides of the bridge. You can see some little structures. That's a 6-foot high observation, and you can see
That's
the difference on what you can see, the difference. And scroll to the side, I get a 2-foot observer height and a 12-foot. Look at that 2-foot, so you can see just the tippy top of that side of the bridge, and then 12
Jose, why did you do this? You just proved curvature, man.
right? No, that's what I'm
all.
saying. I mean, that's what I got. I'm honest enough to present it. I said, like, this is very interesting because I didn't know I'm gonna have such a big difference on obstruction as just a little bit of difference on height. And I got the video of all this, me setting up the tripod to 2 feet, and then raising it up and putting it to 6 feet. So I took screenshots of those, and then I got videos on the other ones, 12 foot to 20.
In all seriousness, for a moment, it's remarkable footage, and I'm specifically interested in the position of the optical slant that I'm seeing in relation to the observer height. Look at this.
Exactly.
Look how close that water is, and then
Yes.
scale that in relation to those
Jose,
bridge ends.
Jose,
So
was this
close by? And
Jose? Was the tide coming in?
further, a lot further. It's all the way over here.
Jose, was the tide coming in?
The tide was the lowest. It just started to come in. Yeah, it was like 12:30 p.m. I can go back and check on the website. I mean, I can check on when I took the video on the time, and I can check on the tide. But the tide was at the lowest because I could walk further in the sand than I usually can. So I was able to get really low on the water,
Yeah.
So what we need to do, Jose, is do the observation 2 or 3 times and see do you get the same results each time. Because if this is the curve of the Earth, you should get it regularly.
Talking about if this is the curve of the Earth, if we go to a perspective hijacking begging the question proof of nothing curve calculator and input this quote unquote obstruction into that calculator and then see whether or not it says that when we exclude all aspects of the angular relationships between him, i.e. Jose, at his viewer position, and this at the location he's viewing, and the deck, which you're going to ask him to go and replicate at a lower position, i.e. when the tide's lower, if he'll get the same effect, well, no. He'll increase his viewing angle to the bottom of whatever he's currently got obscured. But when Owen jested and said, "Oh, you've just proved Earth curve." No, we're no longer shy of these optical effects, formerly known as curvature, formerly known as the optical slant. What you are seeing is the diffraction limit and the wave obscuring stuff in the near foreground. All of this can be explained with perspective very easily. There is no curve in this picture. There's the assertion of curve with the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, which we have taken a giant dump on. Now, does that mean that someone like Conspiracy Cats can be as disingenuous as he is and take this and say, "Look guys, curve"? Well, go ahead. If you want to reify your model and tell people that this mathematically shows Earth curve, then you are number one, deluded, and number two, a religious zealot. You're just looking for confirmation bias of your religious belief. We, on the other hand, can look at this and assess what's actually occurring as he lowers his elevation. He's decreasing the angle of view to the thing in the far distance, while simultaneously have waves rising up to block the midpoint of his camera, causing an quote-unquote obstruction. Sod all to do with Earth curve when you beg the question and ignore perspective.
Yeah, and one other thing that we need to evaluate as well is the topography of the seabed. So if the tide's coming in and you've got that water coming in, sometimes you get a tidal bore, rip tides, all these kind of things, they affect obviously water is flat. We know water's flat, but still you can have uneven parts of the flatness with this effect, so you've got the tidal bore, things like this. It does artificially increase the height of the water as well. All things that we need to look into.
I'm just astounded because I'm looking for that optical slant point and I'm just seeing the line of the waves, the apparent horizon line, and just look at the structure that structure tells you where it is, how close by it is. And if you look at these lower observation heights that are basically the same kind of zoom and everything, you just see how incredibly close by the optical slant, which is in this case this wave here, is. It's so close by. It's incredible.
Do you know what we can do?
I just really wanted to present it because it was really interesting for me to see. To my viewfinder, I said, I saw my TV. I said, like, oh crap, let me just present this on the Nathan show. See what we can make out of this because it's interesting. Yeah.
Is it the first time you've done it, Jose?
The first time I got this because I went maybe 2 weeks ago and it was really hazy. I couldn't even see past 10 miles. That's the day that I think I presented one with the boat, not the one really visible that it was really blocked. One a few weeks back, and I could see like it was really hazy and really mirrory, and I couldn't see far enough. This is the clearest day I've been in that one spot.
Well, so, you're gonna have to do it 2 or 3 times to see.
I have to, yes.
Yeah. But what I would say, there's 3 things that are possibly either right. 1, Earth is curved. 2, for whatever reason, the water's risen up. And 3, the third thing that can cause this is, hang on, let me remember what if you go back to the picture that's zoomed in a bit, Arwin.
They're all zoomed in.
That one. Yeah, that one will do. Hold it there.
They're all zoomed in.
Yeah.
It's just different heights.
It's ruling out whether or not there's a mirage. And there's a mirage known as a Fata Brumosa mirage, which is basically the water reflecting above itself.
Mirage is happening right here. You can see it.
I know, but you can also see that there's a band across the horizon that's got like a darker color to the water than the rest of the water. And that indicates there might be a Fata Brumosa mirage, which is the water reflecting on top of itself. And
that's further in the distance. Because close by, this one's down. See, this is really close by. There's no mirage.
I was going to say, isn't it visually obvious that the waves that you see rising up to the midpoint of this lens are in the near foreground? Isn't that obvious?
In this one, yes.
I'd say so, yeah.
Right.
Even
so
in the
waves in the near foreground
really
are higher than the thing in the background. It's simple.
Yeah, even in the 6 foot, because in a web page I look on all the conditions for fishing. It's for fishing, but it got very detailed conditions, and there were waves up to 6 foot and 7 foot every 1 or 2 hours. Like you could have maybe a constant waving of 1.5 to 3 foot constant every few minutes, and then you got this big ass wave coming in every I don't know, so often.
Jose, where was this taken? What country are you in?
Texas, Galveston, Texas.
Just go to the first frame, Arwin. I think the first frame has got his GPS locations, just so it rounds out nicely on this observation. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this, Jose?
No, I just wanted to present it, with the coordinates, so everybody can key it in and take a look, and just figure these optical illusions by everybody. That's the whole idea I want to do. Just present everything I catch and come to a solid conclusion on what is going on here.
When did you?
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah.
When did you film this?
Hold on, Ranty. Hold on one second.
2 days ago.
Hold on,
Sorry?
Ranty. Can you just spin on one photo just so they can get the GPS of where he actually took the picture from?
This was 2 days ago, the day that Piche and Zinder was here. When I was on my way there, I took a short clip of myself listening to the show, and I uploaded it my channel 2 days ago.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for that. Can you just spin on one photograph, Arwin, just so you can get... That's it. Perfect. This is where it was taken from. Jolly good.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Ranty.
I still gonna review the footage and probably upload some later on the actual footage.
Excellent stuff, Jose. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Good shit, Jose.
So, Ranty's done quite a lot of work this morning.
I have.
Right, you're up, Ranty.
Okay, so a few days ago, I found this gentleman here, Nick Havoc is his name. This is his video. I'm going to give him a thumbs up because I actually mirrored this video. And it's been well received, I have to admit. But in the globies' mind, there's still a few people that have put some videos out saying that this proves the globe. So I'm going to be a glober for this demonstration, and I'm going to present something as a glober would do. Basically, do the same as what Conspiracy Cats did. So
does that mean you're going to lie? Does that mean you're going to misrepresent the ball Earth, the flat Earth position then?
All right, let's not convolute things. Right, at this stage, all Ranty's doing is playing devil's advocate. He's going to be our resident globehead for the sake of this example and present this picture. Is it a video or a picture?
Well, this is part of the video. That he drives, and from 132 miles away, he sees this mountain. It's called Pikes Peak. Might play a couple of seconds of the video. There we go. This is him showing Pikes Peak from 132 miles away. Right.
Is Pikes Peak the one where they race the cars up?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
I genuinely don't have any idea.
Okay, no worries, sorry.
But this is what Conspiracy Cats did when he was trying to do the Mount Rainier and the St. Helens observation. And you can see this number at the side where it's 327 meters. Now, that's his elevation above sea level. So obviously the person that took that image says that he was at 327 meters. So quite correctly, what Conspiracy Cats has done is he's removed 327 meters off the height of Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier, and then worked a triangle out. So he's then been able to work out the angular size of it. But essentially, what he's doing is he's reducing 327 meters off the height of Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier because that's his observational height. So I agree with that. I agree that's how he should do it. I'm going to show you on Google Earth now where he took this observation from. So it was from Al Canyon Road, which is here, and he's looking way over here to Pikes Peak, and the distance is 132 miles. So I'm going to do an elevation profile, which is obviously showing you this is observer height here, which is at 1633 meters. And then as he looks across and he goes across, he comes up to a small mountain range here, to finally he comes right to the top of Pikes Peak. So this is his line of sight, 132 miles. And we now need to take off. So his observational height is 1633 meters. And the top of Pikes Peak is 4,302. So now we need to subtract that to get a triangle. So basically, this is what we're doing. We're going to put let me just sort something out in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this line of sight in here. So this is his eye line. So we're going to take off 1633 off 4302. Right. So then we've got a flat plane to work across, and we've got the triangle that we can work out. Let's go to the calculator. and I've already got it up. 4302 minus 1633 equals 2,669 meters. Now, I want Conspiracy Cats to do this video. I want him to apply the same logic as he did on this video, where he says it's not flat, with this observation. This is my challenge to him. Anyway, 2669. So now when we look at the image again, and we come over here. So what we're saying is that, oh, hang on, this one. So now we've got 2,669, was it, Nathan? 2669?
Yes, I think so.
Right. So now we've got a height of 2,669 meters. So we're looking up to 2,669 meters. And let's do the calculator on that, the Earth curve calculator. So this is the Globey, 132 miles. The view height 0, because we've already worked it out to a flat plane now, taken off the observer height. What it basically says is that 3,540 meters should be hidden, right? And if you include refraction, 3,035 meters, right? But we're not going to do refraction because I don't think that's correct. 3,540. So let's put that into this image here. So as this mountain range goes around the curve of the Earth, 3,542 meters of it is hidden or dropped from his observer height over here. But the mountain is only 2,669 visible. So his line of sight, there should be 800 meters or so below the curvature of the Earth. So this image, all this mountain range here should have gone beyond the curvature of the Earth. I can show you it just on here. This is another way of looking at it. This is the side profile from Google Earth. Let me just put a line in there. So now we've got a triangle. So we've got one line there, and now we've got another line there. And this obviously is 2,669, 2669 meters. And yet the curve says 3,542 should be hidden or dropped, as per Conspiracy Cats, the way he did it. Exactly the same. But yet I see a mountain there, Nathan. Now, is that a mirage? Has that been loomed up?
So let's just be really clear.
Well,
we're going to poke the bird here. We're going to get.
Sorry, you go ahead, Anthony.
We're going to poke the bear here, and we want all the ballers that are watching secretly, that are lurking, to go and tell Conspiracy Cats to come and do the same arithmetic that he did on the Mount St. Helens video, that he didn't prove the observer location and all that stuff. Come and do the same set of maths the same way he did it. But the difference is this time we can show you where the guy shows where he was when he took his film. So you can be satisfied that he was actually where he says he was. You don't have to trust us. You don't have to trust him. He shows it in his video. You know that thing that you didn't do? So there's no traps in this, Conspiracy Cats, or what we would call failing to provide your basis for your claim. Do the maths. Explain to us how this is possible if we live on a sphere when we can see that the curve should be gone, that mountain should be way gone, and that's not even considering perspective.
And if you look at the image as well.
Have you got anything to add, Ranty, for your devil's advocate position?
I want to go over to an image of the Earth, so to speak, and I want to show that obviously we're not working at sea level. We're working above sea level, but that doesn't make any difference. Here I've just put a random guess as to 132 miles, so it's not to scale either. This is Pikes Peak, obviously, here. So I've slapped on 1633 meters, 4302, and it makes no difference. It's still going around the curvature of the Earth. It's not somehow ended up flat. It's still going around the curvature of the Earth. So as per Conspiracy Cats, when he did this, and he took his 327 meters off to give him the angular size, it's exactly the same process.
You didn't get the angular size when he did that.
Sorry?
He wasn't taking the height off to get the angular size. That's not what he was doing. What he was doing was compensating for his elevation.
Okay, well, he's compensated for his elevation. I've compensated for my elevation.
Yeah.
I've taken 1633
let's
meters
We
off.
get it. Hold on. You're doing too good a job of playing devil's advocate, Ranty. Is there anything else you want to present in the fallacious manner that a globehead would have presented this total failure of their model? Is there anything else you want to add? Because if not, I want to point out what Anthony just said and move on before you row as a globehead. We understand you've done it correctly as a globehead would do.
Well, clearly this is refraction that's doing this. Obviously, that's being loomed up.
No, don't need it. Thank you very much. You've done your job. You've done us proud. You don't need to argue their refraction bollocks. Thank you very much, Ranty. But in seriousness, is there anything you want to add? Because I'm going to take you off screen and go to my point. If not,
Stop interrupting him. Stop interrupting him.
Oh God, I'm getting hijacked from all sides.
No, this is it. I want Conspiracy Cats to do this video, just as Anthony said. I want him to do this, and Slice Barcane and Red's Rhetoric and all of them. I want them to work on this process exactly as I've done it here, and I want them to formulate the same process as what I've done and come to a conclusion as to why we see this mountain.
Fine. Now, can you go back to the top left tab that you had open? It's got the still of the Conspiracy Cats video inside elevation with his little... Here we go. So, albeit slightly the wrong way around in terms of my graphical representation, which seemed to get a lot of hand wave dismissals. So, if I now click to my version of the same thing, so I'll just make this full screen. So, in the same way, we've got an observer point. His is on the right, mine's on the left, so I'll just flick between the two. So this is his, there's his observer position, there's his observed whatever mountain, and in this we've got observed position on the left and mountain in the middle, kids, mountain at the far end in the distance. So in other words, these two are comparable other than being one looking from right to left and the other looking from left to right. Would we all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So the problem with representing things in this way is that it ignores perspective. And I'll show you precisely what I mean by that. Because in this depiction, if you take a tape measure to this in the near foreground relative to the camera, in the way it's misrepresented by globeheads. Sorry, I've got to put a lot of disclaimers in here. So if you take the feet and inches value of this and compare it to the feet and inches value of this one, as drawn in Conspiracy Flaps' diagram, would appear to be bigger or smaller based on that value. However, when you actually put this into the real view of the real world, we start off with the thing in the background, Soundly's giant head, getting ever smaller with distance because of perspective. In other words, its angular size is actually smaller. This is now the smaller thing in the picture. And the thing in the near foreground, surprisingly, is the bigger thing in the picture. So this, despite the fact that it has a smaller feet and inches value, actually appears bigger than the thing with a bigger feet and inches value. Seems contradictory. Well, no, they've hijacked that fact of life, perspective, and called it Earth curve. This thing's dropped relative to this. That means it's dropped around the Earth curve, says the globehead. No, it's small because it's far away. Its angular size is smaller than the thing that's closer to you. But they would say it's dropped into Earth curve. Utter nonsense. So this misrepresents what they say is a flat plane. We don't see this ever. You cannot observe the side of your own head when making an observation. This is not how you see the world. This is how you see the world. This is reality. This is a globehead zealot's misrepresentation of what they claim the flat Earth is. It's not.
I just also want to say that if you look at the image from Google when I put the elevation profile in, which is this top image here, that looks awfully like the image at the bottom. This one in the middle is obviously what the curve model should say, which is obviously the mountain is dropped and gone beyond sight, so you don't see it. But when you actually look at this mountain here, and then you look at the side profile of the Google Earth representation, it looks pretty conclusively flat to me.
Yeah, it's obviously and observably flat. This is the problem that globeheads have in the first instance. They have to hijack what we see with our eyes on a day-to-day basis. You're only ever dealing with a flat plane. And so are the engineers, and so are the pilots. We're all dealing with a flat plane, because that's what it is. Flat. You ignore perspective, and say that when things get smaller into the distance they're dropping into Earth curve, then yeah, you can use an assumptive calculator to demand that people point their cameras down, demanding that they're taking their observations whilst looking at a tangent to a curve that we don't see. You can assert all sorts of nonsense with a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator, and a reification fallacy of a heliocentric model. Doesn't mean we live on a sphere. We don't. The Earth's not curved. It's flat.
Yeah, there's no curve. They've got to manipulate the maths. They've got to make that maths make it look like it's curved.
Yeah, what they've got to do is make this mountain that's dropped by 800 feet around the curve, they've got to make this above and lift it up here. That's what they've got to do by means of refraction.
Or to put it another way, they've got to turn seeing a mountain into a phenomena. That picture's no longer just a picture of Pikes Peak. Now it's a phenomena. Now it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena of Pikes Peak. Nah, it's just Pikes Peak, and as a flat earther we can just say that. There's Pikes Peak. No need for any explanation, it's concrete now, and we just see it because it's there. That's it for a flat earther. We've got the easiest time for truths on our side. There it is, plain to see. But what they'll need to do is convince us that we're actually seeing a phenomena. Something that shouldn't really be there because Earth curve's obscuring our view. Even though their calculations won't even let us look up at things.
Nathan, do you mind if I change topic?
Well, just one thing.
How dare
when we
you?
ran
No,
this past
flat
Adam,
Earth.
Sorry, just one thing. When we ran this past Adam before, he said it's even worse for the globe, actually. And the reason being that once you put an elevation of 1633 meters on top of the Earth, so obviously like this image over here, we're getting a bigger radius already. So the radius is bigger, and also that mountain is tilting backwards, which is actually going to drop the height of it as well. And it's going to drop it quite considerably, you know. So all in all, it's a fantastic observation. Nick, I'll show you his channel again. Nick Havoc, there's his channel. I suggest everyone go and subscribe to him.
Stop. Click on share, just above where you are now. And it'll say copy. Copy, down the bottom. See where it says copy?
Copy, yeah.
Yeah. Then if you can just go to the Hangout and paste it into the Hangout, and I'll stick it in the chat so that people can actually directly go right here, right now, to his channel and subscribe to him. Which is precisely what I will do now as well. So there you go. There's me subscribing to you. Good job, my man. Let's have a listen to you.
It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Colorado. I mean, it is like super nice today. Just
good to know. Well, hopefully you'll get a few people subscribing to you, my friend. Go and subscribe to this man, people who are in the chat. Thank you very much in advance. There's his link. Spam, spam, spam. Off it goes. Nick Havoc. Thank you very much for your glorious observation, my friend. And thank you for presenting it as a globehead, Ranty.
And Conspiracy Cats cannot debunk that claim, that video. Nor can Red's Rhetoric.
Nice poking.
Nor can Sly Sparkane. None of them can debunk it.
Right, yeah, Anthony wanted a subject change. Go ahead, Anthony.
Right, Nathan, be ready to present your most recent video about Red's Rhetoric, that little clip. Because the reason, what we need to do here is we need to rally up the Flat Earth troops, right? And we need to put pressure on Red's Rhetoric, because Red's claims that he does not want to come onto this channel, this debate, to have the conversation with us because Nathan's mute button. However, he was in a hangout recently with Spurs Chemo and a couple of others, and well, Reds was using his mute button in the exact same way that he doesn't like Nathan using it. And what that means is Reds can't now use the mute button argument as the reason for him not coming on the show, because he does it himself. So either
your entry where you completed this challenge and
no,
now
the first one.
hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that he can't interrupt me. In the entry that you put where you completely destroyed the $1,000 challenge. Hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that he hang on, let me mute Flat Out Hero so that he can't interrupt me.
So what that means is that he's actually doing to Flat Out Hero the exact thing that he claims that he won't come on the show for Nathan because of. Now, it means that he hasn't got that argument to hide behind anymore because he does it himself. Now, for whatever reason, he didn't want to be interrupted. Yeah, well, we don't do it for that reason. We do it to make sure that these points, these absolute ball-busting points that we bring up get addressed, that they don't get obfuscated, and that there is closure to the point in hand. So, for example, gas pressure. How do you have a gas pressure without the membrane? So we want that point closing, right? We don't want somebody like Rumpus to start gibberish, utter nonsense, going on and on and on and on, and just disrupting the whole hangout. That's why the mute button's there. The mute button is basically the Rumpus button. And he didn't want to come in because of it. However, he now does it himself, or he does do it himself. So he can't hide behind that anymore if he does it himself, because that would make him a hypocrite. So next time anybody sees Reds going live, make sure you say to him, we've caught you using your mute button the same way that Nathan uses his. You can't hide behind the mute button complaint excuse anymore. Go and debate Nathan. Because the door's open, Reds. You can come in anytime you want. Oh, and by the way, if you do come in, make sure you bring that video with Spurs Chemo, the one that you showed Spurs with the buildings on it on the horizon. Yeah, bring that one, because that's the one that I want to talk to you about. So go the open door, Reds, the mute button claim. You can forget about that now because you do it yourself. We only do it if you don't answer the questions. Answer the questions and you won't get muted.
We do not want to hear the excuse is a circle jerk and a closed circuit because it's an open hangout. The panel might be full, but if you say in the side chat or contact anybody on private message, say, I want to jump in the show, I am be very happy to drop out for any of you that have anything to for the show. So any drop for you guys, just say it in the chat. You want to join, and we'll drop for you.
Observe the mighty alligator as he stares with his cold gaze at the pathetic stork. Let's have a listen to what the stork is saying.
Your show's not fair. You should debate me on this show where it's more fair for me. You get your big mouth heard while I'm squawking. I want special treatment. I'm a special bitch.
Observe the mighty alligator as he stares back at the stork, knowing he will soon eat stork.
So, Reds, buddy, bitch, you can't hide behind your mute argument anymore, can you? So why don't you bring that little video in that you showed to Spurs and come on the panel someday? Do it soon, whilst we still remember how relevant your arguments are, because at some point we'll forget about them, and then we'll have to start all over again. Nathan, what do you think?
Well, I think there was quite a lot of kerfuffle with Red's Rhetoric calling me out and me saying there's a daily link published where you can come and join and debate if you want to. I've carved out quite a nice little pool here, and we've got quite a few alligators roaming around the pool with plenty to eat, plenty to talk about, lots to do. And occasionally we get other alligators that join us, you know, the type Alan B or Rumpus, and those alligators come in, and occasionally we'll let them stay in the pond and they play reasonably nicely, and then occasionally they don't, and we have to tear them a new asshole and they run out of the pond and go back to wherever pond they're from. But not only do we have other alligators trying to come into this pond, telling the rest of the pond what's what, we also have another annoying breed of animal that roams around this pond being irritating. That would be storks. They sit on the sidelines and in the comments and they say, "You need to come over here and talk to me somewhere else." Just like Red's Rhetoric and just like Conspiracy Flaps. Like, no guys, the only reason you want my attention is because I've got the attention of the people watching right now. right? Well, that's because we've carved out this nice little pond for us alligators to chill in. Now, if you want to come in the pond, we can't stop you. There's no fence. Well, I say there's no fence. Occasionally, YouTube will put a little fence up between us and the main pond, which is why we're currently in this little pond that we're in now. You know, we will still throw your corpses into the main pond. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1918, you don't realise that this show goes out on live, as it is now for the people watching, on Nathan Oakley channel. Click on the link. And yeah, because you're currently just watching the corpses get tossed into the main pool. But yeah, we're in this other pool. We're still happy. You know, I've carved out a nice little resort of pools so we can still keep having our little arguments and discussions with the other alligators. But the storks, yeah, you don't see many storks eating alligators. Quite the contrary. But maybe some of these storks, maybe it's our eyesight. Maybe we're mistaking storks for actual alligators. And if they want to crawl into this pool, fight with the other alligators, they're welcome to. The link's published daily. As for me going somewhere else, nah, I've done my time on the debating circuit. I've been to plenty of places and debated plenty of people on their platforms and got annoyed with getting turned down and people muting me and all that crap, and I try and avoid it. Yes, when it's absolutely necessary, as is only expected, that's why there's a mute button on every single Hangout run ever. You have to take control of your Hangout, and I will. This is my show, so I will. As for me sodding off to someone else's platform so they can do that to me, nah, we're the minority. We're the ones that are being told that the consensus view is the Earth is a globe. So it shouldn't be a scary prospect to come into this little pool with us alligators. Until you get Anthony on your back ripping you a new one, and then you want to be terrified of being in this pool. And you want to drag Anthony on his own, or me out on my own, to your pool, where you might have a chance of winning. Well, sod that. If you storks want to flap off into the distance, moaning about mute buttons and how unfair it is in our little pool, nobody's asking you to be here. But if you want to sink into this cool, refreshing water with the rest of us alligators, you can. We might even have a little chit-chat with you. We might chill. It's very nice, this pool. I like it. The people on the panel like it. You might enjoy it too, until you start asserting religious beliefs. Then us alligators here, we don't like those religious beliefs. We'll just munch them. Yum, 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 yum. Gobble them down. Anyway, enough bullshit metaphors about alligators.
I think you should do that num 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 num. You know, that really sadistic, like scary sounding bit. Just apply that somehow to Reds, because it's really sinister when you do it. Because the bottom line is, Reds cannot come in here because he knows he'll get battered. And it's not that he's going to get muted. It's that he can't answer certain questions. It's a little bit like when Sly Spar came. I went over to Sly's channel, came off Nathan's safety house and safety nest, and I went over there and I predicted that he would not be able to answer a particular question. So when we got all the way through the debate and we got to the point where that question was asked, I got kicked. And the reason why, according to Sly, is that I said that a mirage was real world. We see it. He kicked me because it can't possibly be seen on a sphere because it's way gone behind the curve. Now, bear in mind, this was something that he asked me to go and get from the beach. So I did. So when I did go and get it from the beach and I went to get him and then catch up with him for what he asked me to do, I said that he would kick me the minute we got to this point. We got to that point and he kicked me. It's not okay to say that it's a mirage unless you can prove that it's a mirage. And it's absolutely okay for me to say we see it because it's flat. So here's the thing. I can prove that we can see it from the beach because it's flat. You guys have got to try and argue that it's not actually a thing, it's a mirage, but you can't prove that it's a mirage, and you desperately need it to be a mirage, and we all know it's not. It was compressed, it was there when we expected it to be, and what do you know? You guys could not answer it. I got kicked. So it's true to say that these guys cannot come in here, they will not come in here, but it's not because of the mute button. It's because they've got to answer certain questions, and they can't do it. So Reds, you're challenged. Conspiracy Cats, you're challenged. Sly Sparkane, you are also challenged. Reds, you've got to come in at some point because you can't hide behind your mute button complaint anymore. Conspiracy Cats, you've got to explain how it's possible that we could see that mountain from such a far distance away when it all should be behind the curve of the Earth. And Sly Sparkane, you've also got to do the same task as Conspiracy Flaps. How is it possible that we can see these mountains from such a distance if there's supposed to be a curve in the way? There's supposed to be a curve that these things drop behind and they can't be seen. So how are you going to fudge the maths on it? What are you going to do? Reds, we'll put the kettle on.
You can have a little poker, Auntie?
Slice Barcane, Reds Rhetoric, Conspiracy Cats. None of them can debunk the video that Nick Havoc put out with his 132-mile observation of Pikes Peak. Applying the logic and the way they formulated the observation that they did with Rainier and St. Helens, I want them to apply that to the observation of Nick Havoc. And the conclusion will be that it isn't a ball. In fact, it's flat. They can't disprove his video. End of story.
In for a penny. Anyone else want to have a bit of a poke of some crazy zealot globe heads? Feel free, man. Knock yourselves out.
Can I have a second poke? Reds. The mute button claim's gone, mate. When are you going to come in? We won't mute you, provided you don't obfuscate the point. We'll ask you very concise questions, and we'll expect very concise answers, usually yes or no's, black and whites, ups and downs. Really simple questions that are closed. And if you haven't got evidence for your assertion, don't bother coming in, because you're not going to survive. It's that simple. So, Reds, buddy, friend, look forward to seeing you soon. Or not, as the case may be.
Okay, Nathan, I'm presenting a picture Travis just posted in Skype.
Yeah, Jose inspired me to go through some of the footage that I have that I just don't take the time to go through, and I have something similar to what he was showing, so...
Cool. Right, that might be my opportunity to round out for a short break. So with that, I will say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the audience for tuning in live and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. Smash that dislike button, but then smash it again. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!